Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, I'll call to order this regular school board meeting for Independent School District number 544. The first item of business is to establish a quorum.
Natalie Knudsen.
Here.
Stephen Biggetsaw. Here. Matt Lemke. Here. Melanie Cole.
Here.
Elaine Danielson here. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. We have an agenda that was last modified Friday morning. Is there a motion to approve the agenda that's before us?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. We'll move into our acknowledgements where we want to say thank you to the Fergus Falls Elementary PTO, to Schmidt Music Company, Taco John's, Union Pizza and Brewing Company, the Fergus Falls Band Boosters, Fergus Falls Noon Kiwanis, Eckroth Music Company, and family and friends of the orchestra program for donating funds to support and sponsor our 4th grade orchestra trip to the Minnesota Music Educators Association Conference that was held in Minneapolis on Friday, February 17th. And for those that watched last month's meeting, Tindy Run gave a pretty good description of how the event went, and we thank you for the financial support. We say thank you to Sam Van Wetchel-Meyer for her donation of time teaching yoga to fitness classes at the Kennedy Secondary School. And congratulations to the boys swimming and diving team. They had Caleb Neubauer placing 11th at state, and Evan Erlinson placing 14th. So they did an outstanding job. Congratulations goes to the Fergus Falls High School Otterbots team number 3295 as they are moving on to the World Robotics Competition in St. Louis on April 26th and 29th, 2017. That is a wonderful accomplishment, and I would note the community might keep their eyes open for an opportunity to donate, because there'll probably be fundraising for the trip.
Mr. Bonnke, what fundraiser are they running?
They're probably going to contact individual businesses, and it also sounds like there'd probably be a request coming for information on our school district website, so if people wanted to contribute that way, they could too.
All right.
And they have one more, if you don't mind.
Yes.
The boys basketball team, it's kind of the last, they're in the last in line here, and they're playing on Thursday night for the section championship. And I just wanted to correct the time. I think some notice got out there that the game is at 7 o'clock, but it's actually going to be 7:30 or maybe even a little later, because there's another five AAA is playing first, and that's Ricori and Big Lake are playing at 6 o'clock, and then we'll follow. So I'll actually be surprised by the time they play the game, get their awards ceremony done, we warm up. I'll be surprised if we're tipping off before 8 o'clock the same day. But another news is there's buses going to that event. So the activities office here, if you'd like to sign up, $20 for the bus ride to get down there. So if you want to ride a coach bus.
And
Jerry, can I just say something else on that too? I think there are reserve seating for this also. The lower level is 9.
Right, and they can, starting tomorrow, they can buy reserve tickets for the lower level here.
And where will the game be played?
Good question there. St. Cloud State Hall and Beck Hall.
Oh, great. Okay. Super. Thanks. Any other acknowledgements while we're on it? Okay. We'll move on to board reports, and since I'm alphabetically first, I'll start. Today we had the Special Education Cooperative Board, and just during our agenda today had only one personnel item. The staff will go around to each of the member districts this spring and see how things went and talk about staffing for next year. Otherwise, business as usual for the Special Ed Cooperative. In the last month, we did not have the Region 1 regular meeting. There was the educational conference for support staff. And so, no regular meeting, and I didn't attend the conference. And then Also, my other topic to report on is negotiations, and there are no current negotiations at this time. So that concludes my report. And we'll move on to Natalie Knudsen.
The policy committee, I have not been able to attend any of the policy meetings thus far. In terms of wellness, they just had their last wellness meeting last week. And just a couple kind of fun things going on. There's a med student named Kate Bressler who's doing a skin cancer study. And she's focusing on tanning for the juniors and seniors for prom, and just providing some education for them. And then Kate Heitcheck's class is still working on taste testing some healthy lunch options that might be implemented at some point. Jen Cohorst, who is going to be going on maternity leave soon, is hoping to run another health challenge for the staff at Kennedy. And then lastly, they're going to be incorporating a mental health in-service during the teacher workshops the end of this month, which is a really great addition to the day. So that's a summary.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Natalie? We'll move on to Brian Danielson.
Meet and confer, nothing really there. The last couple of meetings that we did have had to do with the calendar, which was approved at the last board meeting for next year, so that's been approved. Buildings and grounds, had a couple meetings. A lot of those right now have been dealing with the placement committee group, been dealing with the playground, and we're kind of tying that in with the wellness group too. So we are going to be discussing that a little bit later on in the meeting tonight, as far as the matting, at least for the playground. And then we'll also discuss probably some of the equipment stuff needed too. But there is kind of a timing issue with at least getting the matting going. So we'll be discussing that a little bit later here in the school board meeting. And then for the 544, we met last Thursday, and a few things there. They're up to 398 members, so their goal is 500, so they're 102 away. So continuing to go up on that. For the students out there, scholarship applications are at the counselor's office, and that deadline, I believe, is April 7th. So make sure that for parents or anybody that's watching tonight, have your students, and not just for the 544, but all scholarships that are available out there. Make sure these seniors are getting those filled out for the Dollars for Scholars banquet that will be coming up later this year. They are going to be having a retired teachers brunch, and that's going to be on May 17th. And they're inviting about 200 retired teachers, so, and they will be asking for RSVPs on that, and that's going to be at the Bigwood Event Center. One other thing that, exciting news, they have chosen 2 new members, distinguished members, alumni. I'm not going to give the names out of those tonight because they have not been notified, but that was something exciting, and those will be honored along with some other distinguished folks at homecoming next fall. So instead of this spring, that's going to be getting tied into the homecoming events next fall. And then just keep it in mind again, we talked about before, but July 21st will be the Legends Golf Tournament. And other than that, I think that's about all I have.
All right, any questions for Blaine? All right, moving right along, Stephen Vigasa.
All right, start with the curriculum review. In our curriculum review meeting, we talked about math, mostly math, and then we talked a little bit about special ed. The math teachers are doing a great job. They're using a program called Everyday Math, and the Everyday Math uses what they call a spiral technique, where you'll land on a concept, cover it quickly, then move on, and then come back to it again later. And it works really well for some students. I mean, anything you do is going to work well for some students and not so well for others. And the teachers see this program as a pretty good foundation to kind of get them started, get the kids started in learning, but they're finding that they're having to supplement a lot this program. And now Jerry, help me out here, they're waiting for something to happen with legislation so they can maybe pick a new curriculum down the
Well,
road.
actually, the Minnesota Department of Education, they pushed off the new math standards
Yeah.
until 2021. And so what happens then is the standards get adopted by then. Well, then it takes probably a year for them to write the textbooks to match the standards. So then at that time, then the math department will review and then select again. But right now, that what they're looking at doing is Everyday Math wants to keep us, that's where we're in right now. And they will give us the update, the 2016 copyright, and all of the resources, online resources, to us for free. We just have to take training, which is what we're scheduling in the fall in service.
Yeah.
So we'll get updated, it's mainly online, so we don't have to do, it's new workbooks that go with the text, so it's mainly buying a different workbook, so at no additional cost.
And so, yeah, for now, they're doing a lot of supplementing. One of the things that I read here when they were going through the meeting was a lot of it's taught towards the middle of the packet in terms of achievement level. Title I helps the kids who are in the low end. For the gifted kids, right now they're doing switcheroo, which basically kind of clumps the kids who are higher achieving together and versus the lower achieving together, and teachers really like that. When you start to see some separation is in 6th grade where they have they can kind of break off into more of an advanced class. So, and I've talked about gifted programs before, and I haven't done much with it, to be quite frank. But I guess that's with the math. I mean, they're getting by. It's great. I mean, they're doing a great job, which is with the supplements, and they're not just taking the everyday math as it is. They're really just trying to meet the needs of the kids, which is great. For the special ed, really it was more or less an overview, which was good for me to kind of help understand this co-op concept, which is kind of how insurance companies pool their resources. We're kind of pooling our resources together for a special ed co-op, at least how I understand it. So we can meet the needs of, we have kids categorized as different levels, and we try to keep them in the mainstream student population as much as possible. And I don't think we have any kids that are completely segregated from what they're telling us. And I guess there's not, like I said, it was just more or less an overview of what's going on, and Jerry, unless you have something else that I'm missing on there. So that was about it for curriculum. I met with the staff development committee. It was a pretty light meeting. They're just gearing up for this in-service day that's coming up 24th of March, and they've got their agenda all set. They just need to set up room assignments. Their budget's just about done as far as granting requests, but they feel, I think they got more money this year, which they appreciate. It's good to get it down to zero, because it's a use it or lose it kind of a thing. So one thing that did come up, and it kind of ties into the special ed from curriculum review, I guess, is special ed paras. They were finding out in the exit interviews that one of the reasons that they're leaving is lack of training, and I'm wondering, I don't know how to address this at all, but training in terms of safely handling kids that have special needs. And so they're asking for more training opportunities there. I'm guessing that's probably something the staff development committee's got to work out on their own, but maybe you know more than I do on that.
I don't want to leave the public with a misimpression that they're not getting adequate training.
No.
It has been a topic of negotiations and brought forward to the directors of special ed co-op.
Mm-hmm.
They do have online training options, and they have regular scheduled training options. The difficulty is that no matter what's been added, we still get that same concern.
Okay.
So.
Typically what they do is in the fall, they have all of the special ed paras come in together, and we have a full day training for our district, and they do CPI, which is a compression training hole.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some years that they have to do the full course, and some is a refresher year.
Okay.
And so all of those concerns we bring right to Shannon Erickson as the special ed co-op director, and what happens is if we have a new person, we will train and pay an hourly stipend to come in for training after school to make sure everyone's trained properly. So, but it's certainly something that we'll continue to look at and use their input for our fall training.
Sure, here we go. And that's all I got.
All right, any questions for? Okay, Matt?
It just so happens that this is kind of falling before some meetings. So Minnesota High School League will meet during the boys' state tournament, so I have nothing to report for them. And Lakes Country Service Co-op Board meets on the 20th, so I have nothing to report for them either, so just kind of timing.
All right, thanks. And Superintendent Ness?
Yes, and just continued on with what Steve was talking about, we have at the end of each quarter, we do a training or a work day. So March 23rd is the end of the third quarter, and so the following day, the morning is district in-service, and the afternoon is work time because it's end of the quarter, grading, updates and things like that. But we also do some licensing opportunity that Steve was talking about. So just in the morning, what we're going to be doing is, we haven't had a large district meeting since the first day of school or fall in service, so we're bringing everybody in and really getting some clarity on the student placement, talk about those things, synergy training, some flexible fall in service scheduling that we're planning on doing. So you're welcome to attend. That is 8 o'clock in the auditorium, March 24th. And then following that, we have our PLC meetings, our Professional Learning Committee meetings, but we'll also do some MCA time. Testing time is coming up, so we'll do some proctor training for both the middle school and Cleveland. The staff has lunch on their own, and then a lot of the staff will then go work in their rooms, which is what the day is about. Or if they're up for license, it's typically their license runs through June 30th. If they're tenured, every 5 years they need to renew their license. So we have a reading option, a technology option, mental health is what you were talking about, Natalie, where we have someone coming in talking about stress management, and then accommodations and modifications, ESL, which is English as a second language, and another reading component. So staff can go to these, and that helps them go on and get their license. As an example, the service cooperative is doing the same thing. On Saturday, you can get, there's 6 different components that you need to be licensed every 5 years, and they're charging $75, which is a bargain there too. So we are providing a lot of the same type of stuff for our staff. So I think we have a lot of things on the agenda, so I'll just end there.
All right. Any questions for the superintendent? Very well. Our general consent items tonight have before us for consideration for approval the minutes from the last board meeting on February 27th, and then bills and treasurer's report. So how are we standing with that?
I think I'll step in because
Sure.
we have 4.7 million, 4.9 million actually in the bank right now. And with 1.5 borrow, that makes about 3.6 of it is ours, which is good for this time of year. Of course, if you've been here in the past, this is awesome compared to what it used to be. It's about normal where it should be. I also went through the bills with Lane and Steve, and Lane, did you notice anything?
No,
that you'd like to comment on?
everything's good,
Okay.
no questions.
Then, with your recommendation, we would accept these bills. And of course, we're reviewing only the student activity bills.
Okay, very well. And then we also have for consideration of approval several personnel. So-
Yes, we have a retirement, certified staff, teacher retirement, Angel Bremseth as a special education teacher, and that is for next fall. Certified staff hire, Christine Lawson, is going to be a long-term sub in the arts world for IQ Academy. Support staff retirement, Joan Helgeson is a retiree as a secretary at McKinley. A support staff resignation, Samantha Logan as a noon hour supervisor, and then 2 hires, Amber Hovland as a paraeducator at McKinley, and Gail Johnson at cafeteria at Kennedy. So I recommend approval of those personnel items.
All right. Is there a motion to approve all the items in the general consent?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on any of those? All in favor of approving the general consent items, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that is approved. We'll move on to our new business, which starts with entertaining a motion for the bid for Phase 3 of the electrical project at Kennedy Secondary School. The narrative that we have on our agenda underneath indicates that the low bid was Minco at $295,000, followed by Otter Electric at $329,850, and Sun Electric at $348,000. So, is there a motion to approve a bid for the Phase 3 electrical project?
You recommend approval?
I do.
I move that we accept Vinco's bid at $295,000.
All right. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? If the cameras didn't pick it up, Matt Lemke asked the business manager if he endorsed the accepting the bid, and the answer is yes. Any other discussion?
I would add to that MBN Engineering, who is bidding this and designed the project and will oversee the project, they have no exceptions. They didn't find anything wrong with Vinco's bid, nor did Vinco just report any errors that they made. So it's a valid bid, and so they recommend we approve.
Could you talk a little on the timeline too?
The timeline here, obviously, we'll have to have some outages when this takes place. And right now, equipment, we're being told, could be as long as, well, the equipment could show up on August 15th. And that was the scheduled date of completion of this project. So it's going to make it very interesting to see how this comes through. So right away tomorrow, we'll get the paperwork in, and then Vinco will start ordering, and within luck, they'll get their equipment here in July instead of mid-August.
Did they give you a time frame, Mark, on how long they think it's gonna take them?
Well, all of the work basically is outside now.
Okay.
We've done 2 years of work on the inside, and so it'll be place the transformer in and then a short outage as they convert from the old to the new, and that's it.
All right. Any other discussion or questions on this motion? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. Next, I'd look for a motion to call for bids on the school's district maintenance shed. And so we'll take a motion and then we'll fatten up some information on that.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. And so, Mark, can you give us a little bit more specifics?
Certainly, the architect that is designing, we should really start calling it a maintenance garage, because people, when we say shed, they think it's a dirt floor and a pole barn, and it's not. It's a lot more than that. But nonetheless, the architect is expecting that the specifications will go out either late this week or early next. And so I just want to get this on the docket so that we're officially calling for bids. We can get it advertised and then get bids back at a reasonable time that we can get this constructed.
Okay. And for those familiar with our current green shed, what we're proposing for the maintenance garage is got quite a bit more capacity and accommodations.
Lot more heated area inside. It'd also be raised up so that it isn't sitting down in the swampy area back there, so that it doesn't move. It'll have a more solid foundation, etc. We hope that it'll last far longer than the 20 years or so that we got on the old one.
All right. Okay, we have a motion and a second and some discussion on the calling for bids for the district's maintenance shed or garage. Is there any other discussion, questions from the board? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that,
And this will come back to the board with actual bids. So right now, this will be advertised in the region and looking for good numbers, we hope.
okay. Very good. Our agenda moves to a resolution on the retirement of Angel Bremseth. And And I'll read that. Whereas Angel began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in August 1984, and whereas Angel has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 33 years, and whereas Angel has done an excellent job as a special education teacher in the school district, and now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls Board to thank Angel Brunson for her 33 years of dedicated service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. So will someone offer that resolution and move for its adoption?
I'll offer the resolution, move for its adoption.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, and roll call, please.
Natalie Knudsen,
Yes.
Blaine Danielson, yes. Melanie Cole,
Yep,
Stephen Biggessa,
Yes.
Matt Lemke.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
great, thank you. Thank you, Angel. And then along the same lines, we have a resolution on the retirement of Joan Helgeson. Whereas Joan began her employment with the Fergus Falls Public Schools in July 1975, and whereas Joan has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 33 years, and whereas Joan has done an excellent job as a secretary in the school district, and now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls School Board to thank Joan Helgeson for her 33 years of dedicated service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. Will someone offer that
I think
resolution?
it's actually 43, isn't it?
No,
Is it? Well, she took time off?
She took time
Okay,
off,
there you
yes.
go.
I'll offer the resolution, move for its adoption.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. And roll call vote, please?
Matt Lemke,
Yes.
Stephen Biggessa,
Yes.
Natalie Knudsen,
Yes.
Melanie Cole,
Yes?
Blaine Danielson, yes. Resolution passes.
Great. All right, we have before us a motion to revise the school calendar for this year to take June 1st from off the calendar from a 3-hour early out, just to be teacher workday, so, and no students. So is there a motion to make that revision?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And, yep, Steve. Any discussion on this?
I can fill in, this is a request to, based on the move, we will have 5th grade moving to this building, so all of those teachers. And then we have a number of teachers at Cleveland will be moving, shuffling around that building. 3rd grade will stay in the older part of the building, and 4th grade moving down to the new wing, all of them. And then we have a number, so we'll have possibly 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and some others moving. So it's just a matter of taking those additional 3 hours, using it for packing, preparing for the move.
All right. Any other discussion about this motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. And then as far as notifying the parents that they'll have their little cherubs home that morning, what all will we do for that, Superintendent?
Well, it'll be electronically, but also we'll do a mailing. So whenever we have report cards coming out at the end of each quarter, whatever we're mailing out, we'll add another sheet in with this adjustment.
All right, thank you. The next item on our agenda is looking for a motion on the placement of 5th and 6th grade students in the current middle school wing at Kennedy Secondary School, beginning in the 2017-18 school year. Is anyone willing to make that motion?
So is that moving 6th grade out of their current area down to that?
To the middle school wing,
Okay.
correct?
Okay.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, great. So, yeah, and we had discussed this at the last work session about
Okay.
how that might answer to some of the concerns of the parents of both 5th and 6th graders. Might line them up for a little bit more seclusion and a little bit better access in and out for the prairie
So when you have, so what we'll end up doing is we'll be more of pods where 5th and 6th grader are in the middle school wing, and they'll be able to go there. And then it's also in the folder that you have, right there on your right, you have a folder that has all this information too. So and then 7th and 8th grade will be together as well, and then the high school separately. So it allows all of the new students to the building next year, for example, will be together They'll be in the center of the building, so they'll be close to the office area, the cafeteria, the media center, the music, the physical education, and then having only one grade level apart in the same area. So I think that,
That's
it's a-
awesome.
Cool, huh? Any other, any questions or discussion? Anything further from the board about this motion?
Just a comment on, I mean, it's kind of nice that they're both grades are going to a new school at the same time, you know. I don't know why I like that, it's just nice that they're two. I really like this new plan, how they kept it together there, so.
All right, anything further? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That is approved. And is there a motion to approve new middle school playground plans? This is why I signed up for the board.
You know, in your folder, maybe even before we have a motion here, in your folder, there's a document, and if you go to page 12 of the document, that's where, in fact, actually page 11, and Mark, that's the budget page. When we initially received the budget, it came in at almost $180,000, and the buildings and grounds wanted to keep it closer to $150,000. And so, and we also had, the original plan was more square, and so what we decided to do is we'd rather have a rectangle, a longer, narrower playground, so it wasn't going into the green space as much. So the page 11 is the budget, the playground budget. So you see with the adjustments made, it came in right at the $150,000 mark. And then if you turn the page, so we're looking at this page right here, that's the actual floor plan, if you will. I'm looking at it, so the 12 is at the bottom right, okay? So in the upper right-hand corner, that is a rope climber, that is called a Pegasus, and so that's what that is. The long, narrow stick man, if you will, right there, those are swings, so two different swings. They're very popular still, even at this level. In the lower right is a fitness climber, many different types of apparatuses on there. In the center, you see a small, it's called a maypole, so it looks like a peace sign, right? It does, so down there, but that is something where students can jump up, grab, and it twirls, so it's building upper body strength. And then in the lower right is called the 10 spin, and that is handicap accessible. It's goes around really, really fast. You know, the kids jump on it and let her go. I mean, I remember those days. So that is the floor plan, okay? And then if you turn the page, the next two pages are actually the design, and it gives you the picture coming from this angle, and then the next one is exactly from the opposite angle. So you can see the swings, the layout. So that's what we're talking about as we're looking at the playground.
Okay, great. Is there a motion to endorse the new middle school playground plans?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Do we want a dollar figure, or do we want to
No.
just approve this, the plan itself?
Is the motion for just the matting, or is it for the whole deal?
Well, it was a motion to approve the plan and doesn't have any financial specifications in it just yet. So, do we like the plan, I guess is what's in front of us.
I think what was trying to rush this a little bit was the matting piece of it, because we were being told by this vendor here that it would take a long time to obtain those mats. I'm not convinced that that's entirely true, but at the same time, I think that was the reasoning behind getting this to the board ASAP, was to get that piece at least ordered.
All right, so maybe a modified motion off what was suggested to approve the playground plan and the mat?
I think what you could do for a motion is approve the budget amount as a board. The committee, the Buildings and Grounds Committee is recommending the $150,000. You could make that motion, and then have a direct Mark, myself, and the Buildings and Grounds Committee to find out we just, 5 minutes ago, we just received another bid. And so we can review that. It's more of a poured type flooring matting versus the matting that we're currently using. So allow that Buildings and Grounds Committee to come back on the 27th with a recommendation, or if you feel comfortable allowing that Buildings and Grounds the decision to decide which one. Do you want the matting we're currently using, or going to a more of a poured floor?
Yeah, I think if you were to do just the dollar amount, then that would be the flexibility to let administration go either way that we need to do.
With, in conjunction with Buildings and Grounds, right?
Right.
And is the poured floor the same, like the equipment goes in and then the floor, or then they pour it?
Right,
Okay,
yes.
So it's the same.
It's a shorter time period. The fear I have is over time, the elasticity of that poured floor. We need to do some research on that, because I know they've used some in the past, and they dry out and they get very hard, whereas the matting is going to have that cushion all the time, so we'll have to.
I suppose that part of it gets damaged too. Like with the matting, you just take out a few squares, right?
Right.
They come in
Yeah.
pieces, don't they? Or
Yeah, and the matting piece of it is the same company and the same product that we have already at Adams, Cleveland, and McKinley.
We've had very good
And
luck
we've
with that.
had very good luck with
Yeah.
it, so it's kind of like,
I'm
really
assuming
wanna go to the next step.
I'm assuming a poured it'd be like a piece of cement, you would cut it out and re-pour, is probably what you do. But we just, like we say, we've got it at 5 minutes to 5, so to be able to make a decision. So I think if you made a motion to approve the dollar amount and give the Buildings and Grounds the approval to move forward with the plan, would suffice.
All right. Good.
Yep.
Steve, are you willing to modify?
I'll
that?
modify it to approve the dollar amount of $150,000.
All right,
I'll second that.
great. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving the middle school playground plans, and approval of the budget at $150,000, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. Thank you for that, and we will keep moving on this agenda, where we have, need to discuss and potentially approve a memorandum of agreement between Southwest Minnesota State University and the Fergus Falls School District to provide student teaching opportunities starting July 1st this year through June 30th of 2020. And this is a routine agreement we have with Southwest Minnesota State Universities. So is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions on what we're doing or why this is on?
How many different schools do we have agreements with, the colleges?
Oh, boy.
No, Bemidji, we do more.
UND, Bemidji, Morgan State, might be, we've had some from Valley City. Some of them require different
They're not all the same.
agreements
Okay.
based on their bylaws and practices, so I don't think we have agreements with every single one that we have student teachers.
I just know
from.
the length on this one too, it's like 3 years, that's not standard on most of them, is it?
No.
That's,
That's what I thought.
yeah. All right. And of course, we got the copy of that agreement in our documents. Any other discussion or questions on this? All in favor of approving that memorandum of agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. And lastly, we'll look for approval of the Achievement and Integration Plan, effective starting on July 1 through June 30th of 2020. And we'll take the motion, and then I'll have Superintendent Ness review the plan, give the highlights on that. So is there a motion to approve the Achievement and Integration Plan?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Superintendent Ness, will you?
Yep, a little bit of history here. Achievement integration, if you hear the word diversity, these are sort of synonymous with achievement and integration. 10 years ago, maybe even more, this would have a huge budget. We had a coordinator, Cindy Skelski, I know Don Kennedy was involved in it. We had a lot of different dollars, coordinator, and most of the focus was on diversity and integration based on the isolated district, which is Pelican Rapids. So Pelican Rapids has the diversity in our area. Any district that borders them and even if you're bordering the border, you can be part of this plan. And it's all about learning about cultural diversity and integration and making everyone feel accepted, comfortable, and if you know about someone's history, culture, you're more likely, get along better is certainly what it is. Over the years, it's changed more. There's still the diversity or the integration part of it, but equally as important is the achievement. And really what we're finding is the different groups, people of color, many times are achieving at a lower level than the students here. And so it's also, we are able to do a lot of dollars for programming. So right now, the budget you're hopefully going to approve here shortly is $225,000. It is, each year it changes slightly based on enrollment. It's a 3-year plan. This year's plan has changed a little bit. We're doing our Spanish language, and our Spanish classes are doing activities with Pelican Rapids. So there's the World Language Olympics and all kinds of exchanges. It's in the integration part. We're also doing homework help. Gene Larrabee's tutoring position is in this. Our culture diversity teacher, Claire Stitch, is in this plan. And then also a program called IXL, which is math and possibly even reading help, which is able to be used in school, but it's also accessed at home. So all of these things, so really what great program. So $225,000 is being funded from the state that comes to us that we can run programming with. We do not have a coordinator, so I helped write the plan along with Nadine Brown, who is the Western Division Multicultural Coordinator in the area, and so we wrote the plan together. She actually, she's leaving the district, Pelican Rapids districts next year, so what she was able to do is go down to the department, meet with the executive director, reviewed our plan, we came back, did a couple tweaks, very minor, and so our plan is rock solid, so we should be able to get the funding for this. And even, I have to have it in by Wednesday, but they'll review it. If there's tweaks to it, we can still make some changes in it. But we anticipate the plan as is will move forward.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions or discussion? Any, are all in favor of approving the achievement and integration plan effective July 1? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that passes, and I will note that our next regular school board meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, right here in the Otter Community Room. And after we conclude our meeting this evening, the board will stick around. We're going to do a tour and look at the rooms, some of the rooms involved in the transitioning for the 7th and 8th grade students, and then come back and talk about staffing and talk about our school board applicants and what process we'll be endorsing there. So, with that, is there a motion to adjourn our meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on adjournment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We're adjourned. Thank you.